just couldn't cope with all the lights.
Yeah, all the lights and the fact that it's black in there. Yeah,
Yeah, just like yeah. Oh,
hey,
we're live.
back. And we're live. Hello.
Hello.
It's Sunday, and we're here at PATMOCON 2021. Welcome. Right, so you got me, Rich C. Above me there is Gary, and then we've got Steve.
Hello.
And we're talking about this stuff in a little bit, but let's kick off with some of the goodies that we've released today, Steve. All the Mediterranean singles.
Awesome.
About.
Yeah.
Yes. You probably noticed over the course of the last month that we've been releasing the odd piece for the Mediterranean, and of course we have to mention it because we've got loads of it, over 80 codes now, and we've shown some of those off in previous videos. What else have we got on the horizon though?
So we don't mention the thing that's below me, no, at the moment.
No.
Oh,
No.
I'm sure nobody will want to know about that little thing.
No.
I'm sure.
Well, there's this, which is one piece of a much larger set. Quite cool.
That's curvy.
Yeah.
An embankment-y.
We might show off some painted pictures of it later on as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Is that bottle effect on the top?
Yeah.
Could be quite a cool contrast to what we do at 6 o'clock, Rich, with sci-fi. A real time warp.
Waffle or waffle.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So there's that. What else is there, Gary?
What, coming?
Yeah.
Can I do what I did yesterday? Just show something really big.
Yeah, sure, big thing.
Really small big.
A small big
There
thing.
we go, guys.
Ooh.
I showed something brick and big yesterday, and so now it's something wooden big. It's not a posh turntable like yesterday. It's my finger pushing it around. Because I've run out of plug sockets for the powered one.
Yeah.
Wow, the first time I've seen this guy. So,
and that's the 15 mil one, but there is actually a 20 mil one and a 28 mil one as well.
So,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
That blockhouse.
Modular.
Yeah.
Modular, which means, of course, you can put the blockhouse in the middle of a much bigger thing. It'll have a bunkhouse unit and corners, so you could get 4 square corners, or you could have 4. Bring that one round. 4 starfort corners for artillery mounting.
Oh.
Multiple gates you could have, so you can get it as big or as small as you like, really. So there you go. Or you could do it literally a 4-star. I've got 4 corners here, but I decided to show one a bit of everything.
Everything. Wow.
I'm gonna lift the camera up slightly so that people can see.
Yeah, from the cloud, that's it. What we're looking at.
There you go. So you can see all the bits and pieces.
That's fantastic, eh?
Okay.
Yeah. And this is one of those ones that we talked yesterday about stuff sitting around in the queue when we were speaking in a live chat. The 28 mil version of this this is a sort of come from is been sitting as a finished product for about 4 years.
Yeah.
And all we had to do was take some photos of it.
Yeah.
That's Gary painted.
I think the thing that people sort of would like to, well, I think would be interesting is that what happens though is that because when things sit for a while, suddenly Steve will have a look at it and he'll go, what we need to add, or I'll go, what we need to add, and then, or what we do is so we get a little bit more progression. So sometimes it sits because although it's right, just not, it doesn't have that rightness. It's just like, and then we
you could have started off with just the block fort on its own, but why stop there? You've been able to add on the starfort corners and
exactly
more of it.
Exactly. And it broadens its usage out. So at the moment, I mean, if you think you could have that as put 4 corners on it and just a blockhouse, and you're in the Old West, you've got your 7th Cavalry, running around. put the star fort on, your French Indian was, put the blockhouse in, and their War of Independence battle and stuff like that. So there's a lot more once you start doing that.
The involvement of the forts through the ages.
Yeah.
And obviously with the brick fort we showed yesterday,
yeah,
go on and check the videos for that. Yeah, that's going to be some rather big additions for a small.
And as I said yesterday,
big additions are big small addition.
Big small
addition to a small range of large range of small scale. So,
and with my overexcitement yesterday to show some of the other North American bits, there's other bits and pieces around that help you build up even more of that scale stuff. So
you tease us again.
It's nice. It's like the Mediterranean though. If you think about it, the Mediterranean range was we did quite a bit of it years ago, but then it would have been right. But then we added a bit, and then somebody said we needed windmills, and then we needed this, and
then we needed the Freud bits.
Then we did the ancient, the basic Greek range with the wiggly wall tops and all that sort of stuff. And then it felt right. It went into the book, and it felt right to then push it for. Well, it should have been last year, as Steve said yesterday. So I don't know why I have no idea why the program got kicked into touch last year. No idea.
No, I'm trying to think of what happened.
No.
But we're here. We're safe. We're on the other side of it almost. Hopefully.
Cool.
And
I'm going to pop
driving force. Yes, come on back. Yes.
Yeah, there we are.
Welcome, Gary. So I know that's not all we've got for everybody today, because there is a bit more to come, isn't there? Steve, you were cutting some things. Did we get Gary in?
I was going to do something. I had a big plan of doing something, and unfortunately, I went to donate blood, and I was really late getting it done. It took forever because it was a big queue. So I walked in about 30 seconds before they've gone live. So what I'll do is I will have them ready for when you guys come back on in a bit. Yeah,
well, that's awesome. That's 6 o'clock. Everybody, we'll be back. And
however, you did send me some here.
I did, yes.
So you see, belt, and I'm the braces.
Yeah. You did try to be prepared today. All this weekend.
I'm braces because, like a lot of things, I'm very old school. Yeah, that's a museum piece, Rich.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Get hacked and tracked.
Yeah. So shall I pop to the next camera?
Let's pop to the next camera.
And actually, we can do something as well. So,
in the book, I was pointing over my shoulder. It's up here. We obviously covered some of this work, but seeing it in the flesh, I think people wanted to know more.
Yeah, it's on page something, section another. Well, there we go. Look at the state of my workbench. Right. So, as you'll see, the videos for that church that we didn't show, are they live now or are they coming?
They are coming in half an hour.
Okay. So you'll see what we've been working on used in various forms on those videos, so you get that idea. So what we've actually started working with and creating are a range of stencils, folks. A little bit thicker than the average ones because they're going to get a lot of beating. Yeah. Mine really get beating. So we've got like stone, which can be used for walls and pavements. You'll see we've started using some of these stencils as a way of introducing them on our castle keep, the Odium Castle, 1215 or whatever it is.
Oh, yes, yeah.
My memory's that old; it's that bad. So that uses the stone, sort of coarse stone rubble on it, and then we've got brickwork in various forms. There's roof tiling. And you know that we go back to the Mediterranean range, which is quite cool. So you have all those red tiles. So if you don't want to use the printed paper technique for the your zombie killing balcony or whatever you called it yesterday,
the upstairs balconies, yes. Yeah.
Then we've got a square tile set up as well. So we've got a few tiles here, and things. So as a rough sort of quick talk through, using the stone ones, which I've got in my hand. Basically, all I've done is base coat base. And I've done it in a different way because the videos that are going to come up are showing walls being used. So rather than a wall, I've used this for a paving slope. So you're actually starting to, it would be really good to see them used on like the terrain tiles. So, and then all I've done is, if I can shake a paint, shake a pot, pretty much the same as we were doing last night with the sci-fi videos, folks. If you go back and have a look at those, we did.
Yeah.
With the neat ones. It is literally stage by stage, color by color, stencils on. And again, I'm sort of teaching people to suck eggs, really. But this is a different one because they are stencils that can be used for airbrushing or spray can.
Yeah, I mean, you could mask an area of the stencil, so you could put some masking tape over it, so it's just cut out, so that you're not covering the whole area.
Yeah,
and get
perfect.
Control for for a spray can. But then if you get nozzle packs from the graffiti shops, like we talked about, you can get them where you can get a really fine nozzle and get that control that an airbrush will give you.
Yeah. I can easily see this being used on bases really quickly for your figures, maybe D&D. That type of thing.
I mean, I'll show this while Gary starts his little work here. I mean, that's the Mediterranean, the little windmill we just released. And it's actually got stencils over textured paint. So you've got that roughness added in first and then the stencils, so you can get some.
Lovely.
All I'm doing is patchworking the dry brushing.
And again, just straight on there with the paint, no water.
And as you'll see, I'm actually mixing colour as well at the same time. So, if I want to, I'll use the dark basing.
Yeah.
And if you're using it still with the fluid, I'm putting a light in. You're
See,
actually starting to get tone.
People will be like cringing there as you put the
paintbrush in the
brush straight into the other colour.
Yeah. I get told off by a lot of younger people as well. What? It's like, honestly, the rule is what you find great to make what you want with what you've bought. In my book, it's have a go.
Have a go. Find your method.
You bet.
Yeah. Thanks for the words there, Rich.
Don't let Gary near your Play-Doh, or it'll end up all mixed together.
Yeah. This is the real thing. That's straight into a lid of white. So as you can see, I'm working straight away, and you're getting that patch effect.
Yeah. Now all you need to do is just add those clumps of foliage and a bit of dust and that onto that.
Now what you'll find, our stencils are done so that you can actually step them horizontally and vertically, so that square will fit into that square. So you can actually
just mirror, match up nicely and keep the patterns moving without an obvious repeat or overlap.
Now what I've done here as well is you can see that it can be quite stark. And it's explained a bit more in the Dunker's Church videos as well.
Knocking back, isn't it?
Yeah. Now it's an odd term, but it basically just means I'm taking that harshness off. Now, of course, like all live things, somebody's going to go, yeah, but that's not going to work. All I'm doing is knocking off that harshness. And you can see it's softening all those mortar joints off. And I think
by doing the obvious thing would be you could put it on a lighter, have less of a contrast, but then you can't get the patchwork, can you, with that? Because doing it that way, you can leave some bits a little bit darker.
Yeah, it's good.
So you contrast. You can create that contrast. I've got another couple of things here which are done with the brick and things, which will show similar to what Steve was saying, where you can actually patchwork the base coat with different highlights and different features. But it gives you that feeling of, I don't know, reality, but it's not real. It's all fake. But so that's where that's knocked back. And if I take it through the stages, that's how I patched through there. Rough. Be a good boy. Just drop the brush in water. And then basically you can see there.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can grab a figure. There's plenty of them here. And I've been for a very long walk today. And so I feel very much like this bloke to give it scale. So there you go. And that's the stone stencils. And the brick stencils we've got are all designed to work the same way.
That Mr. Panda.
So they all step up. So in terms of brickwork, where did that go? There we go. Again, working the same way. You can see where, as I was with what Steve was saying, you can work from light, and you get a light mortar between the two. So guide me if I've got the panels in.
No, that's all good. Yep.
Cool. So I'm actually quite patchy there with the dry brushing, which is a bit what we showed yesterday with the sci-fi stuff.
Multi-colours, yeah. So
just layering it up. And then I've used the brick stencil in the same way, layering the colour as we go. So from there, and you can see I've started to add a lighter terracotta colour to it.
Yeah.
And again there. So you'll just start seeing a bit more life, and it's starting to look more like a wall. And the one thing I say in the book is about grounding things. I quite find some things float. They're always sort of above the ground. So what I'm doing here is I put a lot of rough dirt texture. Quite often it's a bit of a sort of earth brown beige or Ushtabi bone, which got a 9-year-old rolling around on the floor yesterday morning when I was talking about Ushtabi bone. So that gives it a bit more grounding. And so when you have you can't find something, you just put down. Start putting brick walls.
I often bring in a bit of green ink or a green water pen.
Yeah.
Just to get those sort of lichen and the gooey bits down the bottom.
Yeah, that is a really cool way of doing wood as well, because always fences have that green mold that are building up from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the brick stencils, and that can be useful for. I personally think you can use that for 20mm up to 28, up to 40mm, because you're dealing with a feel of brick. I'm going to swivel around, trip over, throttle myself on my earphones, and all of that, just to grab because
the whole idea of scale there is at the smaller scales, a brick, you wouldn't see the individual bricks, but you want to create that impression of it being bricked.
So there you go, and that's 15.
Yeah.
But for me, when it just gives
it's a big 15mm brick or a small 28mm brick. Does it?
I knew he wouldn't take it seriously. I'm sorry. There's a man behind the scenes. Replace his picture with something.
Everybody, we'll get to see it properly in the next videos.
I'm looking for one. There's one I did with stone texture too. So that's the same stone texture as used on the paving.
Now this is a tease as well.
Yeah. You see, this is all planned. We did plan this in this way. Honest.
Yeah, Jerome's asking a question about what the material is. It's a laser friendly sort of plastic. It's a bit like overhead projector film acetate. It's a bit thicker, but it's got a slight. It flexes a bit better, so it doesn't tear like that would and rip.
Yes.
So,
it's pretty strong.
Really abuse it with the dry brushing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think one of the videos you show how to clean them off afterwards, but you can't.
That's right.
They'll last you a long time. So it's not.
Yeah. So they'll take acetone. They'll take some pretty nasty stuff to clean them, folks. So.
Yeah.
So
one thing that we never mentioned yesterday when you said figure, it reminded me, is that got a really cool little figure set commission, didn't you, Gary? To
oh yes, it is. Yes,
celebrate you and I's 10th anniversary.
yes. I'll pull that down from the shelf. Yeah, before we close. Yeah, can I do that, Rich?
Yes,
Please.
definitely. Yeah. Yes, Jerome's just saying there, but the flat brick would be good for the ancient range as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All of it. Yeah, absolutely. Where we did on the ancient range, it's funny. Now I'm going to the stone texture and putting brick with it.
Yeah.
So the one thing that quite often people find with kits is, of course, when you've got corners and it's stone. Now I with dry brushing and stuff hide it, but of course a lot of people then want to put laser cut cardboard corners on and detailing and things like that. Stencils are really cool for doing exactly that. So here's a wall, a stone wall. Now, to explain, I've got a little bit of shading going on here, and that's not just a case of the dry brushing technique. It's a case of actually moving the stencil very slightly off par, and then putting the lighter color on. It takes a little bit of practice, and it can be quite frustrating that you've moved it too far. But actually, it's quite fun to
create
different
framework. Yeah.
And then what we've done, we've actually developed a little stencil here where you can paint in the brick edges.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah, and so you can actually just put the stonework down, put that on. Using Steve's idea, you could have masked up the edges. But of course, as you go around the wall, you can then actually match up.
Yeah, match up your bricks.
So, I mean, I'm working on separate panels. Quite often I work on panels as separate parts. But of course, when you're finishing, you're wanting to match all those edges in. So this is a really good little stencil to enable you to do that. We've also, of course, people go, yeah, but what about the stone? Well, there's the dressed stone edge too, which you can put with brick and other things. We've also done a couple of strips. So, you know, where you've got the brick piers in the middle of a wall running up there, you could then put in a brick pier. So it's quite a good band of stencil either side, so you can rub it in.
Top edge of a stone wall. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, which is what these are great for. This is literally top edge of a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those are, if you want to do, depending on the size of the window, of course, as the window sizes change, you can then put that over a window, and that becomes the top of a window.
Stone lintels.
Yeah. So that works brilliantly for that. And I love it. I think that's really effective. I think it's quite a cool way of detailing stuff. Again, it's back to paint rather than constantly having to labor things with gluing things together. And I end up with mostly on me.
But particularly at the smaller scales, I think that absolutely makes things stand out without having to go to those extents of trying to glue extra layers on. Or
you know, and the thing is you can give the building a different look if you want it to have small tight bricks or big stone blocks. The same. You can make the same building look completely different by dressing it up.
Yeah.
And it relates to the video we did last year, or was it last year? Or I have no idea what year we're in it, really. We did the 3 buildings, the Normandy buildings.
Yeah.
And each one of those was done differently. And it was the same building, brick, paper, paintwork, all those sorts of things, flower boxes. And that's what this is all about, is the ability to broaden your table feel and your region that you're fighting in or working in. So this is another one we decided to do, which is herringbone.
Pocky flooring.
I was thinking brick. Exactly, Pocky flooring, brick. Again, for Roman buildings, so on walls and things like that. If you imagine you had a flint wall with a band of brickwork in the middle of it, so it starts enabling you to take buildings that have got etching on, but also integrate other features within the etching pattern. So I then decided to take that a bit further and actually demonstrate that with a mixed wall. And it's taped up. Again, well, that relates to what we're going to do later with the sci-fi stuff, because there's a lot of tape to be involved, or was involved. Again, dry brush, and timber frame comes up quite a lot. And it's in the book again. Going over there. So the book's there. I moved it there. And I've used transfers, and I've also got a Pocky flooring or a brick flooring. And this was just a way of saying, well, the stencils, if like as Steve was saying, I've taped up, patched, and protected areas. I've not pulled this off yet.
Yeah, this is where we find out it's frozen.
This is where we find out that the tape is stuck down and it's going to pull the paint off. Okay, so you can see what's happening there. So you get your timber. Now I've done a brown timber because timber frame goes grey after a while, not straight away. Yeah.
Push it back into the middle, Gary. You're not.
Sorry, yeah, there you go. It's just I'm getting so covered in sticky tape. It's getting difficult to take off.
There you go.
So you've got now when you look at old timber frame buildings, there's a mixture of materials on the infill.
Yeah.
And so these stencils have been done so that you can actually have your it's completely got out of my head, brickwork, and then you can brick foundations, plaster panels, and stonework all mixed within the same unit.
Yeah,
so you get quite a different effect to it. And that's done with the same techniques you'll see in the videos for Dunker's Church as the day goes on. Just working with the same stencils in the same way. So you've got the brickwork being used there. That one there. And the other one, which I've now lost. No, there we go. On there. So you can see how it works. And I just think that makes life a lot more effective, a lot more fun. What do you reckon, guys?
Yeah.
That makes it very easy to work with.
Cool. There you go. So that's where we're going at the moment, stencils and things.
Now, we've been referring to a video series, and that kicks off in about 5 or so minutes over on our YouTube channel. And the first one will go live there in about 5 minutes, and then later on the next couple will come along, and of course Gary and I will be back at 6 o'clock for another, and I think Steve will be joining us with some stencils again to talk about that again, to look at grunging up our sci-fi. Now we'll come back to this, which we're going to talk about, which was something special for our 10 years.
Yes. We've been going 10 years. Steve mentioned it, so there we go. Put them on a little fat surface. 2 adventurers setting out to tilt at some windmills. So we decided. Sorry, Steve, carry on.
No, you go.
No, you go on.
No, you go.
That, as Steve said yesterday, we bumped into each other 10 years ago about this sort of time. I needed something cutting, and he wanted to cut something, and so we had a lot of chat. It was one of those sorts of things where we decided to sort of march out. And throughout the years, people have mentioned windmills and stuff, and people might have considered what we were doing at the time was a little bit crazy. And it just seemed the right thing to celebrate it with something different. I started a couple of years before painting miniatures and selling them and things, and it just seemed to match together. So we could do this with the paint book, with this, with that. So that's where we've got this special figure. It comes free with the farmhouse and 2 windmills, doesn't it, Rich?
That's the one. Yeah, the farmhouse, and it also has within the farmhouse the
The vineyard.
The vineyard as well, yes.
The vineyard.
Brilliant.
Oh.
Yes.
And that all links through because the farm, that whole range has had a lot of stencil work done to it as well. And the windmill was shown by Steve earlier. So we have Don Quixote and Sancho Panza. And, you know, as it says in the blurb on this figure, which one's the real nutter? And it's a case of I'm not sure which one.
Move it more central. Move it more central.
There we go. Better?
That's a bit better. Bit more.
Bit more. Down, up.
Sideways.
There we go. Okay, yeah. So
there you
go. I've got screens all over the place here. There we go.
Lovely work, Gary.
So that's your Sancho Panza, and that I'd say that was done to commemorate 10 years worth or mark 10 years worth of work.
Yeah.
Collaboration and stuff.
And lots of conversations and
yeah. I think people don't. There are a lot of people don't realise that Steve and I will have a long chat, and then we'll come back to it about a week later and go, you know, that chat we had, this came out of there, this came out here, this came out there. So there's a lot goes on. Let me flip back. There we go. Just then I can actually see what screen I'm on.
So I'm looking at the comments. So we're getting some great comments there about the stencils. Jerome, I think, is asking Wattle, but I think Steve showed off something for Wattle a little bit ago. So,
yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled on that one. And
that's a nice one. That's a nice little range coming.
Yeah, very. And Steve, you've got a bit of a clue as to how long we've got to wait for perhaps the stencils. And
I think we're gonna release them over next week, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
get my hands on it.
The best place to find out about that would be in our newsletter.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you've signed up for the newsletter, you've got the chance every time we send one out to win a £50 voucher. So
50 quid. Yay.
Yeah.
Yes. Not only that, but we've got a small extra for the weekend. PATMOCON.
I've got it here. I've got it right on the screen now.
I thought you'd froze at that point.
Well, I knew you would ask me. You go to me, and I've got it's in a big font so I can read it. Yeah. So today's code is PATM 21-Sun5. So it's on the Discord channel. You'll see it. It'll give you £5 off if you spend £25 or more. It should run until we'll turn it off sometime tomorrow, maybe
Tuesday.
Yeah. You know, it's another chance to get a little saving. It's effectively free shipping everywhere. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
Can't take ahead of that one. Thank you very much, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right, and thank you, Gary. I think what we'll do, everybody, is we'll wrap it up here. We've got some videos coming out, as we said, on YouTube channel over the next few hours. And Gary and I will be back on our Facebook Live here at 6. So we'll be looking at Grand Sci-Fi, more stencil work, and some other goodies.
Yeah, I honestly take a look at through the videos, because, I mean, that was quite a quick thing with the stencils, but you'll get a lot more stencilness from the video. Yeah, I agree with you, Rich. What the heck was that word?
And we'll bring Steve back as well, and we'll wrap up for the day.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you very much, guys.
Good, guys. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Ooh, bye.